Welcome back to Self-Built. Today is a build and one workout review video on a new piece of equipment that I'm excited to share with you guys. The piece of equipment that I'm talking about is this right here. You might wonder, well, what's special or unique about it? Oh, let me think about that for a minute here. I'm not sure, but let's jump into it. Real quick overview on this. This is a barbell that can have the handles rotate 360 degrees. It's a very unique thing that you can find in home gyms and even commercial gyms. The closest things that I've ever found were Supra bars, and those were really cool because this can kind of mimic what they all do. Usually what a Supra bar is it's similar in a way of it'll have a fixed point like this or like that. And instead of it rotating here, it'll rotate out, so it'll come out in a different way. And it forces your muscles, it hits your muscles so much differently than a traditional one. And sadly, I've only been to one gym in my whole life that had those, and that was like 17 years ago. And I still remember because they were so unique, and I was like, wow, those are really cool. And unfortunately, they are quite pricey. So you might think of this as the Supra Killer. I've put it through one workout. I'll give you the results. We can decide at the end whether this lives up to the Supra Killer name or if it's just a piece of junk off of Amazon. Let's get into this. One really unique feature about this is you can see there's two pipes in between here. These little cuffs right here will unscrew, and you can also put in a different one. So you're getting two widths of a bar on this for the price of one. Pretty sweet. Not only that, but it also saves space, which I am running out of space. And I love high functionality, which this is looking promising. I'm going to show you how to put this thing together, show a couple demo exercises, and then we're going to go over the ups and downs, price, and if I think this thing's worth it. Let's see what's in the box. That's cool. That's really cool. A little bit of workout instructions if you need some help. These are what you'll be loading the weights on. Yeah, these aren't hollow at all. These are completely solid. Oh, they're so nice. It even comes with some little collars. I already had some, but hey, that's cool. I don't know what this is. Is this for my hands? What is this? Guess I'll have to find out. But yeah, there's some things there. These are some extenders to make this longer if you want. Let's put this together now. Here's the exploded view of everything laid out. This can go into two different forms. This is the closer form, or you can put these on here and make it wider. So depending on what exercise you're doing. To attach these, it's just two little bolts. You can see the little holes here. They just attach right onto here. That's really the only building that this thing takes. And then the adjustments of the width. And it does come with some extra grip tape, grip rubber. Underneath here is just metal. So I guess if you want them, I don't know. I'll see how long these last and if they tear off after a few weeks or whatever. I'll let you know on that. I'll give you an update. But I'm going to attach these on real quick and see what it takes to put this together. I found out these are actually supposed to be gloves. You're supposed to, whoop. Hold on, I got to make sure I put it on correctly. I think it's, yeah, like this. In the instructions, it says to put them on when you're changing it from 1 to 2. This is just hilarious. Here you go. All right, now we're ready. Periodically, I'll check these. Geez, these things make the weight of this thing twice as heavy. But I'll periodically check the tension on these, see if the threads ever loosen up. If not, if they do, I'll just put some thread locker on them. Just something that you don't have to worry about. Then we'll do the next side. Here's the close form all set up. It's so cool to be able to rotate your hands like this. I was wondering if these also like rotated like, woo, like inward or outward. And I'm glad that they don't, because I think that would just be a ton of instability. So this is just what I was hoping. And something that's really cool about this is if you're doing like dumbbells, for example. And if you're going to have your hands this close, and if you're curling, chances are your dumbbells are already going to be touching closer than you're able to get your hands with this. So you're able to get a little bit more of a different angle. And I've got a lot of fun ideas with this coming in. Let's throw some weight on and see what happens. Got some 10s on there. Now keep in mind this bar by itself, I think it says it weighs like 22 pounds. We'll find out. That might be with the longer extended version. But with this, there's going to be some really good arm work to do with this thing. There's going to be a lot of fun. Apparently, they say that you can add 55 pounds on each side. So 110 pounds total. But altogether with this, it'd be about 135 pounds or so. 135 pounds, you can still do a lot of good exercises with it. And there's a few tweaks here and there that you can make. And I don't know, everything seems really solid about this. I wouldn't be surprised if you can put more than 55 pounds on each side. That's not really a whole lot of weight, but we'll see. More testing to come. Let's see what it takes to add some adjustments. And these are solid too. These are not hollow. So this whole build is quite strong. So the secret technology between these is there's couplers on each side that are built in, and it looks like this is a 1-inch pipe. So it comes with this size and this size, which I'll measure and leave a little thing up on here so you can see, but that means you can go to any hardware store and you can buy whatever lengths that you want, and you can make this exactly how you want it. So that's actually really cool. Okie dokie. That is a much wider thing. Woo! That feels a lot better. Feels better for free weight anyway. Here is the expanded version. And with how long it is and everything is pretty tight. There's not a whole lot of wiggle. A little bit of wiggle noise, but this will be great, especially for some free weights. This will be really comfortable and nice for some curling. This is definitely giving me a lot of fun ideas. I do want to weigh this to see how much it weighs. Oh, 22.2 pounds right there. Here's a faster and easier way to know how much it weighs when you have the difference. So there's it by itself, 18.4, adds 0.2 if you're going to do it that way. And then, if you're going to add everything, 22.2. Not too bad. Well, shoot, I did a test I wasn't planning on doing, and I didn't even catch it on camera. So this slid off of my washer and took a nice chunk out of my floor. So as a durability test, oh, there's some more floor particles. Man, oh, and some more right there. Jeez. Well, at least we know this thing's well built. Sorry, I'm not going to do it again, but I'll show you the floor. So there's the new addition. Just took a nice chunk out of the floor. I love the uniqueness of being able to rotate your hands to whatever you want. Being able to add some plates are a great way for resistance. As you guys know, I love to build gym equipment too, so I'm always thinking of, can this thing be better? And yes, this can be better. How much better? Self-built better. Let me show you what we're going to do. I'm going to take it from being able to do not only weight resistance, but also cable resistance, which is really going to open up the amount of exercise you can do with this. This thing will accept cables, but only if you do it this way. So you have to use the shorter ones, attach it in here, and then you need to get the right sized carabiner. So it's small enough to fit in here, but not so big that it'll wiggle all over. So that way when you attach it together, it's going to be held in there nice and snug. Observe, just like so. And there you are. You can see it's in its own little channel. It'll move a tiny bit, but really you're going to be pulling or having it against here. So it's going to be stuck in these grooves already. So that way you can add so much more versatility to this thing, and it just makes it that much more worth the money. Back to my comment of saying you can just buy some pipe and have it in here to adjust whatever widths you do. Well, it looks like this diameter is a little bit tricky. I tried 1/2 inch and I tried 3/4 inch, and it's right in between there. So I don't know whatever size of pipe, if it's very readily available. But yeah, if you've got something in your area that's just a little bit bigger than 1/2 inch and under 3/4, you might be able to find something to where you can make this to whatever you want. Luckily, having the choice between the two is pretty nice, but just as a friendly heads up, you know what you're getting into with this. I was a little disappointed. I was going to do a different way of attaching this, but this still gets the job done, and I'm going to try them out. Might scratch up this chrome a little bit, but I'd much rather be able to get way more workouts, have versatility, and have a few scratches on there. No big deal for me. All right, you've seen some great exercise demos of cool things you can do with the bar. So I'm going to cover the bad, the good, and the price. I'm kind of changing things up. My old video that I had, I don't know what happened, but the clip got corrupted, so I'm reshooting it. I think I've got all the details still in mind. So just pretend that when I show you something that you're like, oh, I don't see anything. And then when I go back to like, this is how you fix those issues, you're like, whoa, that's cool. So play along with me if you would. To cover the negatives, the first negative thing that I have is that grip tape that is on the handles. This stuff right here is hot garbage. It is terrible. Oh, sure, now it sticks to me. But the biggest gripe that I had was it didn't grip at all. On the outside grip, there was a little, somewhat a resemblance of rubber, but this was between the bar and itself, and it's like a soft felt. So without using much weight at all, your hand would be sliding and it would be going into the top of the little rotator things. And I found out quickly that the rotator things, the edges aren't the smoothest. They're definitely not rounded off. So put my bony hands in there, didn't feel very good. So I tore this off within, I think, the second exercise, because I was like, seriously? Not a good start. So honestly, it made me a little worried. I was like, uh-oh, hopefully the rest of this is a little bit better. So once I tore it off, my hands wouldn't slide and it was good. Didn't feel pain, so happy with that. Another gripe that I had was when you're changing the width from wide to narrow or the other way around, is when you're trying to change the weight, it can be a little cumbersome and take some time. Would have made it so much better if they just put some like knurling around the collars, because you have to unthread it, and with it being chrome, it's really slick, and if your hands are moist or anything from, you know, working out or sweating, you'd be like, this isn't really working, so you'd have to really squeeze and try to break it loose or tighten it. So that just would have been a really nice quality of life thing that they could do. And the next thing is the paint that holds the weights on there. Yeah, after the first workout, there's a pretty substantial amount of paint that's already come off, and I was like, dang. I mean, it's not a big deal to me because I know when you're working out, things are going to get chipped, scratched, all that stuff. But some people might think their paint quality reflects on the rest of the quality. I don't think that's the case, but yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. But that's really it for the negatives. There's a lot of good positives with this thing. Besides the obvious of like, look how cool this thing can do. It turns all over the place. It replaces, I kind of did a little count up. and I was really conservative on it, but I would say it replaces at least 8 different barbells, because there's a barbell for this position, that one, and then you can kind of really rotate however you want. My favorite thing about it is the versatility, how compact this thing can be, and then how quickly you can change and do different exercises on the fly without having to grab a different bar or take that weight and put it on a different bar. I love being able to do really, really quick exercises with little rest time, so that way it just makes it more intense, and this thing does it extremely well for that. Now pretend you don't see anything that's not chrome, but with these rotators, I thought they were running on, like, I don't know, bearings or something. You might be able to see, but there's little like pads of plastic that it looks like it just kind of glides along. So that's good and bad. The good thing that I like is when you have more and more weight on it, it takes a little bit more resistance to turn the handles, which makes it feel more safe and secure as you're doing exercises. But it's also easy enough that you can still rotate it while you're doing it. So for me, I see that as a positive. But if you're looking for the ultra super bar feel, you might have to get a super bar. These do get a lot of motion that's super, super similar, but it's not exactly as smooth as a super bar. But super bars cost about $200 a pop, and they don't replace 8 bars along with some close supra exercises. So, I mean, you can go with whatever you want to do, but this is definitely a great budget blower and replaces so much stuff. And to answer the question, do I think this is worth the price? Absolutely. Even though I have a lot of bars that are fixed and that can do certain things that this can do, just being able to change it so quickly and having that versatility, I absolutely love it. And I do enjoy having a bar that is a little bit shorter that I can still add free weights on. And as you can see, this could be a positive or negative depending on, I see it as a positive, but this does 1-inch plates. I mean, you can still throw 2-inch on top of it. I like it more because I've got a lot of 1-inch plates laying around, but I've also thrown on 2-inch plates and it works just fine. So you can really do it both ways. So I think it was smart that they did that, and it's completely solid metal. So it's like, doesn't matter if you throw a 2 or 1-inch plate on there, it's really good. And then the last thing is I really like how I was able to make it adaptable to do cables, because then all those other bars that it replaces on a free weight stat, it does that on cables too. So it's pretty insane what this thing can do. Going back to the negatives, you didn't see any of that black stuff that I put on here. Easiest way to fix it is simple duct tape. And ta-da! That is what we're looking at right now. So with this, it's so much easier to be able to move these now, change the weight. This is a lot more grippy. I'm only doing one side of this where there's duct tape, as you can see with this side. So I'm gonna do some comparisons with it, a little bit of test workouts later down the line, and see if that does anything, and we'll see how this thing holds up. And that is my review of the Swivel Barbell. We'll see if that name sticks, if I think of something cooler, but seems to make sense. On Amazon it was like 4-in-1 exerciser, blah, blah, blah. No real name, so I guess I'll dub it the Swivel Barbell. If you have any questions or comments, absolutely let me know in the comments below. I'll answer all your questions, and I look forward to the feedback you guys have. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, do me a favor and watch one of these videos over here. More views the better, and I appreciate you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget to punch one more ticket on that gain train, and we'll see you next time on Mobile Sale Field.